hello jazz guitar fans. Mastering the art of comping is essential for every jazz guitarist. However, learning how to comp can be a frustrating experience. Hello, I'm Mike Hayes, and in this lesson I'll break down the essential comping techniques that will elevate your playing and have you sounding like a pro. Stick around, because by the end of the lesson you'll be playing through Satin Doll with style and confidence. Let's get started. There's two things I'm really setting out to achieve when I'm comping. One is to create contrasting and complementary chordal textures. And two, to create a dynamic. And by that I mean an improvised arrangement that encourages and supports and hopefully even inspires the soloist. If we take a look at the first 8 bars of Satin Doll, we'll see a series of 2/5s. And of course, there's nothing wrong with this arrangement. The only problem is it's been played over and over and over. We've heard it many times played just like this. Of course, Satin Doll is a great tune. So let's see if we can come up with some fresh ideas that will inspire us to play this tune and do some more sonic explorations. A good place to start is to strip everything right back and then rebuild the harmonies our own way. Here's an example of how the first 8 bars would look if we only played dominant 7th chords. So in other words, I've removed all the 2/5 movement and only kept the 5. Another good option is to remove the 5 chord and only play the 2 chord. Here's how that would look. We're playing minor chords all the way through the first 8 bars. For this first example, I'm going to create some hybrid chords that will help give me the effect of a dominant 7th chord. So I'm thinking in this first bar of G7th, and the chord that I'm going to play is an F with a G bass. Now if I thought of the collection of notes in that chord in relation to a G7th, instead of calling that chord F with a G bass, I could think of that chord as a G9 with a suspended 4th, or a G11th. And then what I'm going to do for my second chord, I'm going to change the C note, the top note in the chord, to a B, which will create a G9. So in effect, just by changing one note, I'm moving from a G11 to a G9. Of course, there's many ways that you could call these chords. The whole idea at the moment is to come up with some creative ways as an alternative to the standard D minor to G7. Let's have a listen to the first example. Here's the same idea, only this time, because I'm playing with a bass, I'm only playing the top 3 notes of the chord. Okay, now instead of thinking in terms of dominant 7th chords exclusively for the first 8 bars, let's have a look at it in terms of minor chords. So if we take the first bar and have a look at what's going on under the bonnet in a D minor chord. Now if I start with my triad D, F and A, if I continue to build on top of that triad by stacking notes a third apart, when we stack the next note on top of our triad, we end up with a D minor 7. And if you look closely, you'll also see an F major triad in there. Now if we were to extend our chord structure by another note, once again stacking another note a third on top, this time we end up with a D minor 9 if we played all those notes. If we left the D note out, we'd have an F major 7. And this is the idea that I'm going to use in my next example. I'm going to alternate between a D minor 7th chord and an F major 7th chord. And I'm going to continue that concept all the way through the progression. Here's the same idea, only this time we're playing the top 3 notes of each chord. If you have a close look, you'll notice we're alternating between an F major triad and an A minor triad. Next I'm going to use pentatonic chords. The bass will play the same bass part as we've just heard, only this time through I'm going to play chords from the F major pentatonic scale as a substitute for the D minor. And once more we'll be continuing that same concept right throughout the whole progression. Next up, I'm going to play a D minor triad to an E minor triad and then answer it with an F major triad moving to a G major triad. Now remember that all these chords can be found in that one D minor structure. If we keep building up, as you can see on the screen, all these chords that I'm using are all found in this one D minor chord structure. In this next example, I'll be playing chords on the 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th strings. And the type of chord voicings that I'm using is reminiscent of the sounds that you hear from a Hammond organ in those early jazz groups in the 60s. I'll now play through the whole progression for the entire song. Have a listen for the 2 points that I mentioned right at the beginning of the video. listen for contrasting and complementary chordal textures, and also the overall dynamic of the arrangement. Well, that's it for today, folks. I do hope you enjoyed the lesson, and I hope there's something in this lesson that'll help you develop your own musical style on guitar. If you enjoyed this session and felt you got some value out of it and you'd like to support this channel, there's a link in the description below this video. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on all the good stuff, and if you like this video, don't forget to give us a like. It really helps us out. Until next time, all the very best with your guitar playing. Bye for now.